OG's been punching three words that sent shockwaves, rippling through the hip-hop world and had fans glued to their screens like it was the finale of their favorite reality TV show. Picture this, JID, the rising Atlanta wordsmith, standing in the crossfire of hip-hop's most legendary names: Eminem, Clips, Snoop Dogg, and even The Game. What started as whispers online quickly spiraled into a full-blown storm of accusations, calls and heated responses that nobody saw coming. Fans are saying the OGs have been swinging not just with bars, but with shade, side-eyes, straight-up punches, metaphorical and maybe even literal. But here's where it gets messier. Snoop Dogg's name being dragged into the mix, Eminem supposedly firing subliminals, and The Game clashing with none other than Memphis Bleek in a move that fans are calling one of the wildest twists of the year. Emotions ran high, alliances were tested, and the family of hip-hop and new was left completely divided. Was JID blindsided? Did Eminem really co-sign Clips while shading the new school? And why is Memphis Bleek suddenly center stage? Strap in, because this isn't just beef. This is drama, betrayal, and chaos at its absolute peak. It all began on a late Friday night when JID, fresh off what many considered one of his sharpest freestyles to date, casually mentioned in an interview that the OGs in The Game had been, in his words, doing a little too much punching. At first, fans thought he meant lyrical punches, the classic competitive energy of hip-hop. But the way he said it, the smirk, the pause, the undertone, it felt heavier. Within hours, social media exploded with theories. Some fans swore he was sending smoke towards Eminem and Snoop. Others insisted it was aimed at the Clips, while a few wild conspiracies suggested he had been physically confronted. Backstage at a recent industry event, "O's been punching" became a hashtag overnight. On Twitter, fans posted clips of old interviews where Eminem critiqued newer rappers, Snoop's infamous comments about today's generation, and the Clips' cold disses hidden in verses. The narrative twisted quickly. JID wasn't just speaking about metaphorical punches, he was exposing something real, something hidden. Sources close to the situation claimed that JID had been feeling cornered. One insider whispered, "He's been sitting on this for months." The tension between him and M boiled over when they were in the same studio last year. JID walked out saying he wouldn't be disrespected. Whether true or not, the story spread like wildfire. Eminem, notoriously private, didn't directly respond, but fans picked apart a leaked snippet of a track he'd been working on. In the verse, he referenced young cats thinking they're lions but forgetting who built the jungle. That one line alone had the internet in chaos. Was he addressing JID? Or was it just coincidence? Fans argued endlessly, some defending JID's bravery, others warning him not to poke a sleeping giant. The Clips, meanwhile, didn't stay silent. Pusha T posted a cryptic Instagram story with the words, "We don't punch, we finish." No tag, no direct call-out, but the timing was undeniable. JID's fan base rallied behind him, interpreting it as a direct response, while the older heads laughed it off, saying JID had stepped into an arena he wasn't ready for. Snoop Dogg's role made things even more complicated. Snoop, who has always positioned himself as the laid-back uncle of the culture, surprised everyone when he went on a podcast and said, "These youngins talk too much. Sometimes the only way they learn respect is if you show him the hard way." Fans gasped. Social media headlines screamed that Snoop was confirming JID's claim really had been punching. At this point, JID felt pressured to clarify. In a live session, he nervously laughed and said, "Man, I ain't say no names. But y'all know the game ain't all sweet. Sometimes these OGs don't like when you move different. When you shine too fast, they get to testing you. I just keep it real, that's all." The chat exploded. Some fans begged him to drop names. Others warned him to stay safe. The narrative of young versus old, fresh blood versus legends was fully locked. Then came the wildest twist. The game out of nowhere inserted himself into the conversation. During his own Instagram Live, he said, "I know exactly what JID talking about. I've been through it. These OGs, they pick and choose who they support. Me, I had to fight for every inch. But JID bro, you better be ready. They don't play nice." The tension escalated further when the game mentioned Memphis Bleek. "And don't get me started on Bleek," he added, shaking his head. "Dude been running his mouth like he the gatekeeper of Jay's legacy. But trust me, he don't want no smoke with me." Suddenly, Memphis Bleek was dragged into the drama. Fans were shocked. Why was his name even mentioned? Bleek had been relatively quiet in recent years, loyal to Jay-Z and known more for his behind-the-scenes moves. But the game calling him out reignited a rivalry nobody thought existed. The following day, Memphis Bleek broke his silence with a fiery Twitter thread. "Let me make this clear," he wrote. "Ain't nobody gatekeeping. Nothing. But some of these rappers love using my name for clout. If game want to talk, let's talk face to face. Don't play internet games." Fans went wild. Clips of old interviews resurfaced where Bleek had subtly critiqued West Coast rappers. Twitter threads connected dots between the ROCO fella era and the game's long-standing friction with Jay-Z. It was like gasoline poured on an already blazing fire. Through all this, JID was caught in the middle. His original comment, intended or not, had unleashed a storm involving some of the biggest names in hip-hop history. Close friends of JID revealed he was stressed. One friend reportedly said JID didn't think it would get this big. He thought people would just laugh it off. Now he's got Eminem fans threatening him, Snoop indirectly pressing him, Clips sending shots, and the game dragging Bleek in. He don't know whether to double down or fall back. But JID wasn't ready to back down completely. In another subtle move, he posted a photo on Instagram with the caption, "Pressure makes diamonds." Fans interpreted it as a message to everyone. He was ready to handle whatever came his way. Comments flooded in, supporters cheering him on, haters mocking him, and even celebrities weighing in. Some rappers encouraged JID to keep speaking his truth, while others warned him not to disrespect legends who paved the way. The hip-hop community was officially divided. Younger fans praised JID for exposing what they called the hypocrisy of the older generation, accusing them of being territorial and insecure. Older fans defended the OGs, saying they had every right to check newcomers who lacked respect. The drama reached new heights when a leaked audio surfaced of a supposed heated argument backstage at an awards show months prior. The muffled voices, though hard to confirm, sounded eerily like JID and an older rapper, possibly Eminem, arguing. One voice could be heard saying, "You think this is your time? You think you can just skip the line? We built this." Another voice, believed to be JID's, shot back, "I don't need permission. I'm not here to bow down." Fans debated its authenticity, but the timing of the leak couldn't have been more perfect. Fueled the flames, making the situation feel more real than ever. At this point, the story had gone beyond music. It became about legacy, respect, and power within hip-hop. Every comment, every post, every snippet was dissected and debated. JID's name trended alongside Eminem, Snoop, Clips, and the game for days. What started as a simple offhand comment had snowballed into the most dramatic saga of the year. As the days passed, the tension only grew. Fans wondered if this would stay verbal or if someone would actually release a diss track. Rumors circulated that Eminem had something locked and loaded. Whispers suggested Snoop might be planning a podcast episode dedicated to addressing the drama. Others claimed the Clips were already in the studio. But the most shocking rumor of all came from a source claiming that JID and Memphis Bleek had spoken privately. And that conversation didn't end well. According to the source, JID felt betrayed, believing Bleek was siding with the OGs. The supposed fallout hinted at more divisions, more betrayals, and more explosive twists to come. And just when fans thought it couldn't get messier, JID was. Spotted at a private event in Los Angeles, the same event where both Snoop and the game were in attendance. Cameras caught. Cameras caught. Them in the same room. No punches were thrown, at least not physically, but the energy was thick, uncomfortable, filled with silent stares that spoke louder than words. The question everyone was asking now was simple. How far would this go? Would it remain verbal shots and subliminals? Or would someone finally break the silence with a full-blown track aimed directly at JID? The Los Angeles event became the centerpiece of every headline. The room was crowded with industry elites, cameras flashing, champagne glasses clinking. But beneath the glamorous surface, tension simmered like a pot ready to boil over. JID stood near the back, quietly conversing with a few friends, trying to keep the focus off himself. Snoop lounged at the other side of the venue, cool as ever, but noticeably watching JID with narrowed eyes. And then there was the game, pacing slightly, clearly itching for some kind of confrontation. Fans who saw the leaked clips online described the vibe as electric and terrifying at the same time. According to insiders, what happened next was nothing short of explosive. Snoop eventually walked across the room, dapped up a few people along the way, and finally stood face to face with JID. The crowd hushed, phones discreetly lifted to capture the moment. Snoop, with his signature smirk, said, "Young blood, you been making a lot of noise." "Too much noise, JID." Not one to cower, replied, "I only speak what I see. If the shoe fits, maybe that's on y'all." Gasps echoed. It was a surreal moment, the legendary uncle of hip-hop clashing in real time with one of the new generation's brightest stars. Before the tension could reach its peak, the game inserted himself between the two. He raised his voice so everyone could hear. Nah, hold up. I know what's going on here. JID ain't wrong. These OGs think they can bully the young cats. But I've been saying this for years. Respect goes both ways." Snoop chuckled. "But it wasn't playful game. You're always looking for beef, bro. This ain't about you." The entire venue was split. Some applauded Game for backing JID, while others shook their heads, convinced he was using the situation to fuel his own relevance. Then, just when it seemed like the argument might spiral out of control, security intervened, quietly pulling JID aside. Rumors swirled after the event that Snoop had muttered under his breath, "This ain't over," as he walked away, though. No clear audio captured it. Enough witnesses repeated the same story to make fans believe it happened. Twitter blew up with memes, some joking about Uncle Snoop grounding the kids, others praising JID for having the guts to talk back. But the real bombshell came the following day when a diss track surfaced online. Fans claimed it was a leaked, unfinished track from the clips, though some insisted it was fan-made. Either way, the lyrics were ruthless. Lines about new rappers thinking they diamonds but cracking under pressure. And Atlanta boys acting like lions but hiding in the tall grass. Whether authentic or not, it poured gasoline on the fire. Pusha T didn't confirm or deny it. But his cryptic tweet, "The truth hurts when it fits," all but convinced people it was real. JID felt cornered again. His team urged him to stay silent to avoid escalating things. But JID had never been one to sit quietly when pushed. A week later, he dropped a freestyle on Instagram, not directly naming anyone, but leaving no doubt who he was addressing. Legends trying to test me like a pop quiz, but I ain't here to study y'all. I'm here to write my own script. Fans lost their minds. Some hailed it as genius. Others accused him of digging his own grave. The drama didn't just stay between the artists, it spilled into families and friends. Snoop's nephew publicly tweeted, "These new rappers don't know real respect. JID gotta watch his mouth." Meanwhile, JID's younger brother clapped back, "Ain't nobody scared of washed-up threats?" The back and forth turned into a family affair, with fans commenting that the family was left divided in real time. And then came Memphis Bleek, once again pulled into the fire. Bleek sat down for an interview where he was asked about the game's comments. Visibly irritated, he said, "Game always been chasing headlines. Look, I don't got nothing against JID, but if he think the OG's been punching, maybe he gotta toughen up. This industry ain't for the weak." Game wasted no time firing back. On his Instagram Live, he shouted, "Bleek out here acting like he's still relevant. Bro, you had your time, respect to you, but don't ever talk about my toughness. I've been through wars you couldn't survive." Fans were thrilled, treating it like a heavyweight boxing match. GIFs, memes, reaction videos, sit was all anyone talked about. Debates raged on podcasts, clubhouse rooms filled with heated discussions. And YouTube channels churned out breakdowns of every lyric, every tweet, every stare caught on camera. Amid all this, a surprising twist emerged. Some sources claimed Eminem was secretly siding with Bleek, advising him behind the scenes and encouraging him not to let the game's words slide. An unconfirmed story even claimed that M had invited Bleek to Detroit for a studio session. Fans speculated wildly, was Eminem preparing to jump into the battle himself? The thought of M and Bleek versus JID and the game became the ultimate fantasy matchup for hip-hop fans. Twitter polls popped up asking who would win, comment sections filled with arguments. And the anticipation for actual diss tracks reached fever pitch. But JID, in a rare candid moment, revealed just how much the chaos was weighing on him. During a private conversation that was later leaked, JID admitted, "This ain't what I wanted, man. I respect all of them, but I can't let them treat me like I'm beneath them. I just said the truth, and now it feels like the whole world against me." His voice cracked in the audio, painting a picture of a young artist torn between standing his ground and fearing he'd gone too far. The leaked audio changed the narrative again. Fans who had criticized JID for arrogance now sympathized with him. Hashtags like #StandWithJID trended. But on the other side, hardcore fans of Eminem and Snoop mocked him, calling him soft for getting emotional. And just when things seemed like they couldn't twist any further, reports surfaced of a private phone call between the game and JID. In the call, the game allegedly told JID, "Look, bro, I got your back, but you gotta be ready for war. These dudes ain't playing fair. You think it's about you, but really, it's about them showing they still control the game." The implication was clear. This wasn't just a clash of personalities. It was about generational power, control, and who got to decide the direction of hip-hop. The stage was set for something monumental. JID with his back against the wall, but with the game in his corner. Eminem possibly aligning with Bleek in silence. Snoop simmering with unspoken threats. The clips dropping cryptic verses that blurred the line between subliminals and direct shots. Every fan, every blog, every outlet waited for the inevitable. Who would strike first with an official diss track? Who would fold under the pressure? And would the fragile alliances hold or collapse under the weight of pride and ego? And then, one late night, JID posted a tweet that sent chills across the internet. "If they keep punching, I'm swinging back." Within minutes, it racked up thousands of likes and retweets. Fans sensed that the next chapter of the saga was about to explode. Bigger and messier than anything yet JID. Single quotes as late-night tweet, "If they keep punching, I'm swinging back," was the spark that lit the powder keg. Within hours, the internet was ablaze. Fans flooded timelines with wild speculation. Was JID about to drop a diss track? Was he targeting Eminem, Snoop, or Clips directly? Or was he finally ready to call out names in full daylight? The hip-hop world woke up to chaos the next morning. Major blogs splashed headlines like JID declares war on the OGs and Eminem. VS JID incoming. Radio stations debated the tweet on air, and podcasters dissected every possible meaning behind it. Emotions ran high, fans were divided, and the entire culture braced for impact. Then, the unthinkable happened. JID dropped a surprise track on SoundCloud, unannounced, raw, and aggressive. No official title, just labeled Swinging. The internet crashed with reactions. In the song, JID unleashed a barrage of clever wordplay, weaving metaphors that left little to the imagination. They threw jabs in the shadows. "Now I'm shining spotlights," he rapped. "Legends want respect, but forget we the heirs to the throne." He never mentioned names directly, but the hints were clear as day. References to Detroit jungles screamed Eminem, while lines about the dog barking but biting softer than a pup left no doubt he was aiming at Snoop. Fans screamed when he dropped a slick double entendre about white lines fading that many connected to Clips. The diss was surgical, poetic, but devastating. Devastating. The immediate fan response was electrifying. Hashtags like #swinging and #JIDV's OG trended worldwide. Younger fans praised him as the fearless new voice of hip-hop, calling the track a generational anthem. Meanwhile, OG loyalists were furious, labeling him disrespectful, reckless, and arrogant. And then came the response. Eminem, silent until this point, finally moved. Instead of a diss track, he posted a video on Instagram. In it, M sat in a dimly lit studio, shaking his head with a small grin. "You sure you're ready for this, kid?" was all he said. The clip was less than 10 seconds, but it broke the internet. Fans flooded the comments with excitement, convinced a full diss was imminent. Snoop also chimed in, but in typical Snoop fashion, with a mixture of humor and menace. On his podcast, he laughed and said, "I hear the lil homie swinging, but sometimes when you swing too hard, you knock yourself out." Fans laughed, but underneath the joke was a clear warning. Meanwhile, the game took JID's side publicly. Going live on Instagram, he blasted both M and Snoop. "These dudes acting like they the only ones who can spit," he said. JID showed more guts than half the industry. They really bout it, then let's see them step up on wax. Just when fans thought the lines were clearly drawn, Memphis Bleak dropped a bomb. He released a fiery freestyle on YouTube, not even thinly veiled, directly mentioning JID by name. Atlanta boy talking tough, like he ready for war. But without Dreamville backing, you'd be sweeping the floor. The crowd went wild. Official Bleak had joined the battle, and he wasn't holding back. The freestyle shook JID's camp. Some of his closest friends tried to calm him, urging him not to spread himself too thin. But JID, already fired up, took Bleak's verse as a personal betrayal. In a leaked voice note shared by a friend, JID could be heard saying, "I thought Bleak would at least respect me as a man. Now he wants to clown me. Nah, I ain't letting that slide." The division in hip-hop became clearer. Young artists like Cordae and Denzel Curry publicly tweeted their support for JID, praising his courage. Meanwhile, veterans like Fat Joe and LL Cool J voiced concern, suggesting JID was biting off more than he could chew. The family of hip-hop felt split right down the middle, each side accusing the other of being blind to the truth. The pressure intensified when fans started digging into old interviews and uncovering receipts. A resurfaced clip of Eminem from 2010 had him saying, "These new rappers, some of them nice, but most don't respect history." Fans paired it with JID's recent remarks, painting it as years of built-up tension finally exploding. Another clip showed Snoop dismissing a generation of rappers in a casual radio interview, which supporters of JID used as proof that the OGs had been throwing shade long before he ever said a word. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, JID's family worried. One insider described his mother as being heartbroken over the situation. "She doesn't understand why he has to fight everyone at once," the insider revealed. "She just wants her son safe." This isn't just music beef, it's emotional, for the family too. As all this unfolded, fans couldn't believe what they saw next. Pusha T entered the ring. He posted a chilling tweet. The young one woke the sleeping giants. "Now it's dinner time." That single line with no further explanation sent fans spiraling. Memes poured in of Pusha sharpening knives, fans predicting a brutal takedown, and conspiracy theories that a full Clips project was secretly being prepared just to humble JID. The drama reached new heights when rumors surfaced of an actual physical altercation. Word spread that JID and Memphis Bleak nearly came to blows at a recording studio in New York. Though no official footage emerged, several sources claimed that the two exchanged heated words and had to be separated by security. One source even claimed Bleak shouted, "You don't belong here," while JID fired back, "I belong more than you ever did." Fans didn't know what to believe, but the story only deepened the sense of betrayal and conflict. The longer it dragged on, the more it felt less like a musical feud and more like a generational war. YouTube channels compared it to the old East Coast versus West Coast rivalry, though on a smaller scale, and warned of dangerous consequences if tempers weren't cooled. But JID wasn't showing any signs of backing down. In yet another cryptic post, he shared a photo of boxing gloves with the caption, "Round 2 coming soon." The anticipation became unbearable. Was JID planning a direct diss on Bleak, on Eminem, or on everyone at once? To make matters worse, fans noticed that J. Cole, JID's mentor, had remained eerily silent. His silence sparked debates. Was he secretly advising JID behind the scenes, or distancing Dreamville from the chaos to avoid collateral damage? The unanswered question only fueled more speculation. As the days turned into a week, whispers grew louder that Eminem had booked studio time with both Snoop and Bleak. Fans called it the alliance nobody expected, dubbing it the OGs United. Meanwhile, the game teased a track with JID, posting studio pictures with the caption, "The revolution will be televised." The hip-hop world felt like it was, holding its breath, waiting for the first official nuke to drop. And then, late one Friday night, a mysterious countdown appeared on Eminem's official website. Just a black screen with numbers ticking down from 48 hours. No explanation, no teaser, just the clock. Fans lost their minds. Was it an album? A single? A diss? Whatever it was, the clock meant one thing. Eminem was about to make his move, and JID. He responded with a single tweet, "Let the games begin." The countdown on Eminem's official site ticked away like a bomb ready to explode. Hip-hop fans across the world stayed glued to their screens, watching the numbers shrink hour by hour. Some fans live-streamed the countdown. Others placed bets on what was coming: an album, a diss track, or maybe even a collaboration designed to shake the entire culture. Meanwhile, JID's tweet, "Let the games begin," ignited another round of speculation. Fans noticed the wording, games, plural. Was he hinting at his alliance with the game? Was he mocking the OGs, implying they were playing games instead of making real moves? The layers were endless, and every detail was dissected with surgical precision. As the clock hit 12 hours, the tension became unbearable. Snoop stoked the fire by posting a picture of himself and M in the studio, both grinning, with the caption, "Class in session." Memphis Bleek followed it with a simple tweet, "We ready?" Fans of the OGs felt invincible, calling it the end of JID's short reign. But the other side wasn't quiet either. The game teased a snippet of a new track with JID in the background, spitting a few bars that instantly trended. Though muffled, one line could be made out clearly: "We don't bow to kings, we burn their crowns." It was direct, defiant, and enough to fuel 1,000 arguments online. The countdown finally hit 0 on a Sunday night. Eminem dropped a surprise single titled "Final Lesson." The track was everything fans expected: dark, sharp, and merciless. From the opening bar, it was clear JID was the main target. M rapped about kids writing in pencil while I carved in stone. Lions raised by cubs, thinking they're kings, and a vicious closer: "Us don't punch down, we knock careers." Out though he didn't say JID's name, the references were undeniable. Fans erupted in shock. Younger listeners argued that M was overreacting, while older fans praised him for reminding everyone why he was considered one of the greatest. Snoop's single quotes his fingerprints were on the track too. He appeared in the outro, delivering a spoken word monologue: "Respect the tree that gave you shade," or "Don't be surprised when the branches snap back." Fans were stunned, and Snoop standing united against JID was a twist nobody saw coming. JID's single quotes his reaction came fast. Within hours of the track dropping, he went live on Instagram. Visibly heated, he told his followers, "I hear it, I feel it, but I ain't folding. They can drop whatever they want, I ain't scared. It's the only final lesson I'm learning is that legends can still be insecure." Rapped. "They call it a lesson, but I'm schooling the professors, legends preaching fear while they masking their oppressors." He went directly at Snoop with a clever jab. Dog been barking for decades, but the leash getting tighter. The line that shook everyone was aimed at Memphis Bleek. "You was always Jay's shadow. Now you begging for his light / if relevance a crime. You doing 25 to life." The internet erupted. Memes of Bleek as his shadow went viral. Fans screamed that JID had officially crossed a line. And Bleek's loyal supporters swore revenge. The family drama element grew even messier when Bleek's longtime friend publicly responded on Twitter saying, "JID disrespecting Bleek is disrespecting the ROC. It's better tread lightly." Suddenly, the feud had spilled into legacy territory, and fans worried it could spiral even further. Behind the scenes, insiders claimed JID was under immense pressure. Dreamville executives were allegedly nervous, fearing the beef was overshadowing JID's artistry. Rumors swirled that J. Cole himself had called JID privately, urging him to focus on the music, not the circus. But whether JID listened remained unclear. At the same time, Eminem wasn't done. In a shocking twist, a second track leaked online, allegedly from the same Final Lesson sessions. This one contained an even harsher line: JID's Just. Initials for Just in Denial. Fans were floored by the directness, though M's camp neither confirmed nor denied its authenticity. The game took advantage of the chaos, releasing a fiery collaboration with JID called Underdogs. The song was a declaration of war, the game spitting venom at Memphis Bleek. "You talk legacy, but you never built a brick, just living off another man's house." JID doubled down on his stance with bars that many fans hailed as his most fearless yet. The battle lines were officially drawn. JID and the Game vs. M, Snoop and Bleak. Podcasts called it the Rap Civil War. Families of fans argued at dinner tables. Friendships fractured on Twitter. And hip-hop felt more divided than ever. The tension reached a fever pitch when Pusha T finally dropped a full verse in response to JID included in a guest feature on a surprise Clips track. Pusha's bars were sharp daggers. The diamonds claim pressure but crumble when they gleam. I built empires off whispers. You chasing meme streams? Fans hailed it as a surgical strike, and suddenly JID was facing attacks from every angle. Despite the storm, JID refused to back down. In a candid interview with a smaller podcast, he confessed, "I knew when I said what I said that I was poking the bear, but I didn't think all the bears would come at me at once. Still, I ain't running. They want a punch, I'ma punch back harder." His words only solidified his role as the underdog hero for younger fans. The saga showed no signs of slowing. There were whispers of an official live face-to-face debate between the sides, with a streaming platform allegedly offering millions to host it. Some fans demanded a full-on rap battle, while others worried that the hostility had gone too far and could spill into real violence. Yet, through all the chaos, one undeniable truth emerged. JID had forced his way into the conversation with legends. Whether seen as reckless or fearless, his name now stood alongside Eminem, Snoop, Clips, The Game, and Memphis Bleek. As the dust of the latest round settled, fans were left with burning questions. Would Eminem drop a full album aimed at silencing JID? Would Snoop escalate beyond jokes and slick bars? Would Bleak finally release a formal diss track instead of freestyles? And most importantly, could JID survive the weight of taking on the entire old guard at once? The war was far from over. Story wasn't finished. It was just the calm before the next storm. And so here we are, caught in the middle of one of the wildest sagas hip-hop has seen in years. JID, the fearless underdog, standing tall against Eminem, Snoop Dogg, the Clips, and Memphis Bleek with The Game riding by his side. Fans are split right down the middle, emotions running high, families divided, and the culture itself shaking under the weight of every bar, every diss, every cryptic post that drops. The question now isn't just who's winning the battle, it's who will survive the war. Will Eminem release an entire project aimed at putting JID in his place? Will Snoop escalate beyond sly jokes and deliver a direct knockout? Will Memphis Bleek finally prove himself as more than just Jay-Z's shadow? Or will JID, with the fire of youth and the backing of the new generation, flip the script and redefine the very meaning of legacy? And what about J. Cole? The silence of JID's mentor looms heavy. Will he step in to guide his protege through the storm? Or will he keep Dreamville safe by staying out of the line of fire? And let's not forget Pusha T and the Clips if they're really gearing up for a full project. Then JID might not just be facing legends, it might be facing an army. But one thing is crystal clear. This isn't over. This is only the beginning of a new chapter in hip-hop's endless story of respect, rivalry, and raw emotion. Now we want to hear from you. Whose side are you on in this battle of generations? Do you think JID has the power to swing back and take the throne? Or will the OZs remind everyone why they earned that title in the first place? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Smash that like button if you're locked into the drama. And don't forget to subscribe because, this story is far from finished. The war is here, the lines are drawn, and you're watching it unfold in real time.